G'day! Welcome to the Petersen's Farm and Cece's Kitchen. And this is our shop. Today I'm going to show you around on what crops we grow here at the farm and all the things that we get excited about doing what we love. We had recent floods here at the Gympie region. Now we had the January floods where the epicenter is actually here at Woluga, and we had 720 mil of rain in 22 hours. So what that means to us is we've lost 3 months worth of crop for the summer. That means that includes our tomatoes, our beans, our chilies, our watermelons and rock melons, and plus about 200 plants of rosellas. That also, because we've had so much water, normally it doesn't happen all in one day, and that means they drown. And then also at the same time, because our dams are already full from December, including our 3 pumps, they're actually all waterlogged. So and then February we had another lot of rain, not as severe, but when you've got a ground that's already too wet, well, that means any water that you get extra is just going to cause a bit of havoc around the farm. So really, we've had a lot of water, which is great for our dams, but also it means that we had rotting on our plants, and also we can't work the land because it's too soft. So but then behind me here, I suppose we are always looking at the silver lining. Our rosellas had managed to survive in all that. So as you can probably see, our land is undulating, so it's not flat, so it all comes in different levels. And the rosellas being bush, they're actually quite hardy. They can sustain the drought, and they can also sustain a fair bit of rain as well. So these rosellas over here, they have been picked for about 4 times. They are not in full maturity just yet, so they will grow up to 2.5 meters high and about 2.5 meters high, wide. The main thing about the rosellas is it is actually quite a sustainable crop, because not only can you eat the leaves, the main star of the show pretty much is the rosella fruit. Now the red bit here is called the calyx, and inside the calyx there's actually a green seed inside. As you know, when you are making the jam, you boil the seed, and that will give you the pectin to help set the jam. Pretty magical, really. So now rosella is actually originated from West Africa, predominantly being grown in Jamaica for tea. Scientific name is called Hibiscus subderiva, and it is just one of the edible hibiscus from the hibiscus family. Examples of hibiscus are your okra, your cotton, if you notice it, and then you've got the hibiscus flowers as well. So if you just notice the actual flower of all these plants, they nearly have the same flower. And a perfect example right here that I'll show you is this, the rosella flower. Now, in the morning, they all open up. So if you can see around the patch, you can see a lot of yellow flowers in bloom. And they will only come out, or they will only open once in their lifetime. They will open for about 6 hours of the day, and about noontime they will close up and dry up, and then eventually they will fall off. And if you notice over here, what holds the flower is the actual calyx, and eventually this becomes our fruit. So when someone says to you that rosella is a flower, you know that actually that is quite wrong. If you ever go to Dan Murphy's and buy the wild hibiscus flowers that they put on the bottom of champagne, well, you can actually say that actually that's a bit misleading, because the fruit has got a seed, so that is a flower. So it's not a flower. So now here at the Peterson's farm, we do know that Rosella has been almost like a dying breed. In the 1960s, there used to be a, um, a factory in Budrim that were producing Rosella jam. Rosella jam to make is quite labor intensive because everything is made by hand. Just a perfect example here at the Peterson's farm. We pick this fruit from the branch using secateurs, and every single fruit needs to be picked on their own singly. So you need to pick this on this own, and then when you de-seed it, this almost, we've got a tool, but it has to be done by hand. And then when you cook the jam, you gotta boil the seed, and then the liquid that you get out of it, you've gotta use it in a pulp, and then you gotta measure it, and then you gotta put the sugar in, and then you gotta cook it and bottle it. It is quite labor intensive, but I don't call it that way. I actually call it labor of love. For every single bottle that come out of the CC's kitchen is a love, is my token of love to people, because we cannot afford to let this beautiful plant going extinct. I mean, this is by far the best favorite jam in Queensland, because it only grows predominantly in up in the territory, up north Queensland, down here at Gympie as well, or Wuluga is actually been a perfect spot to grow the rosellas. And we have about 2,500 bushes here at the moment at the farm. So far we have been picking from February, and we've already picked about 4.5 tons as of this week alone. A bit of a background, CC's Kitchen was actually founded by me out in the Fraser Coast in 2010. And this is long before I actually met Greg. I just love cooking, and I've always have. And I just use making preserves as a way for me to de-stress, I suppose, because I had a bit of a little garden. As I registered my business, CC's Kitchen, I was making jams and a bit of pickles, and people used to ask me about gooseberry jam and rosella jam, and my husband Greg is actually became my supplier, and that's probably where our story started. I came to Australia about 34 years ago, and I don't even know what a rosella is. I actually thought, when he told me about the rosella, I couldn't believe that. What are you going to do with the bird? I actually knew rosella was a bird because I came from Sydney, a city girl, I should say. And then lo and behold, rosella is actually, I would say, our saving grace here at the farm. So I started with making one product out of the rosella, which is a rosella jam. And there was a time, I would probably say 8 years ago, where the market was just flooded with rosellas, and we pretty much, the agent told us that we can only sell it $2 a kilo. It costs us much more to grow it and pick it. And my husband just said, well, if that's the price of the rosellas, we won't send anything to the Brisbane markets. We will just pick them, wash them, and put them away, and then you figure out what you're gonna do. So obviously I've got a husband that trusts me, so we ended up with 1.2 ton of rosellas, and I thought, what am I gonna do? So rosella jam started it, and then I started to have a bit of a play. I mean, the good thing about cooking is that you got to have the right space, and I was so creative, and I started with rosella rhubarb, and then everyone loves the rosella rhubarb jam because one is you can't get it, and then now we've got about 30 different products out of rosellas alone. I mean, this plant just gives us so much, and I know there's a lot more up here to create yet, but perfect examples. We've got rosella ginger jam, we've got rosella apple jam, we've got rosella quince paste that you can put on your cheese platters with a bit of cracker. You got rosella chili jam that goes well in burgers. We've got rosella chutney, and then when we've got a whole lot of pumpkin, I make a rosella pumpkin chutney. I make a rosella chili sauce, I make rosella syrup, cordial, and our most amazing rosella sparkling soda. It's so refreshing, and the color is pink. I mean, we don't use any artificial colors and flavorings. We also dried the rosella calyxes to make tea. As you know, rosella is loaded with vitamin C, 10 times more vitamin C than an orange, rich in antioxidant, and also it's got riboflavin, and it's got essential minerals to actually keep you refreshed and rejuvenated. So in the hot sun like this, it's the perfect drink to have. I also make rosella balsamic glaze. I make rosella vinegars. And we also freeze dried rosella. So if you actually blend it up, and you can put it as on your dessert if you want. And last but not the least, we also have rosella in syrup, the actual fruit that you put in the bottom of champagne, and the syrup you can use to flavor your gin or your rum if you want to. Or even just to put over your pancakes. So there you go. What a sustainable plant it is. Now save the date, guys. On the 18th and 19th of June, we will be having our 7th Big Rosella Field Day right here at the farm. And this is about celebrating all things Rosella. So you get to look at the bushes, touch them, taste them, and get to know what else can you do with rosella. So come and stay here for the day and spend the day with the Petersens. What we're gonna have for you on the day is we will have chefs cooking demonstration using the produce that grown here at the Petersens farm. Apart from rosellas, we also gonna have walking farm tours. We will have market stalls by the farmers of our friends. There's gonna be scones. There's gonna be plenty of products from CC's Kitchen. There'll be fresh produce, and there'll be also some farmer talk. So you get to meet some farmers, and they're gonna talk about their farm, and they are within this area. Plus, it's gonna be also the grand opening of the brand new CC's Kitchen Hub. So how cool is that? Love to see you here.